Hello, this is Jeff Zelaya, and I want to welcome you to week 1 of my LinkedIn University course. Now, if you haven't seen the orientation video yet, if you haven't downloaded your syllabus, if you haven't done your homework, stop this video right now, go do that, and then come back and watch. All right, I'm going to wait for you, but just go do that first. Awesome. So if you're still tuned in, my guess is that you're a great student and you've already accomplished those things. And I have reviewed your answers. So if you've posted them on our website or you sent them by email, I have seen the things that you're looking to gain out of this LinkedIn University course. And trust me, we're going to cover all those things. The theme is pretty consistent, right? People are looking to build their business, get more leads, more prospects. Others are looking for a job. They want to get a career going. They want to have an internship. I've gotten some students that are just worried about their personal brand and want to achieve better results with their branding. Others are concerned about their company LinkedIn page. So there's a lot of goals that it looks like you guys have, and that's great because we're going to make sure we cover those the ways that we could accomplish those goals. However, before we move on, this is what I need you to do so we could make sure that we make the right effort to get there and take the right steps to truly get to that goal. You have to be more specific. Okay, so here's an example. If you're looking to get a job in 3 months, we want to make sure that we use LinkedIn to get 10 interviews lined up for you, right? So if it's a new client that you want to get, new business, I need to get 5 leads or 5 demos or appointments set up by using LinkedIn. But have a specific goal that you're aiming for. So that way we know what we're going towards, and it makes this course a lot more relevant, and we're going to be able to actually take the right steps in order to get you there. Attainable, and that's going to help you get the most out of this course. So now that we've got that out of the way, make sure you do that, write it down as well, have it posted somewhere on your desk, next to the syllabus, hopefully, that you've printed out, and that will definitely be the inspiration for you to stay on track with this LinkedIn University course. And week 1, if you've already checked out your syllabus, this week is your introduction to LinkedIn. So we're going to dive into the platform, get to know the basics around LinkedIn. We're going to dive in. I'm going to show you what your daily LinkedIn routine should look like. So let's get accustomed with all the basics that are on my screen right now. When you first log into LinkedIn, your dashboard should look very similar to this. So rolling here this is your timeline. So you're going to be able to see all your new updates, the people that you're following, the industries that you're following, or the influencers as well. You'll be able to see what they're publishing and any news that's relevant to you. One of the cool features here is that you could actually sort the updates. Many people don't know that, but you can look at the most recent updates, right? So who's just added connections, and this kind of gives you an idea of who's online right now that you may be able to reach out to. You could look at people that are joining groups. So if you want to get ideas, my contacts, what type of groups are they involved in? You could easily just hit groups and now see the groups that they're joining. Maybe you want to keep a close eye on people that are changing their profile or adding new things to their profile, updating their gallery. So you could click that and see what people have been up to if they're active with those different updates. And then you could even customize it, so depending on what type of news you want to get or the updates that you want, you could customize that further. So if I want to come in here and say, hey, I just don't want any trending news, I don't want to know when people are changing their profile, or when people are following companies, you could go ahead and uncheck the boxes that you don't want to see. And it makes sense sometimes to do that. And later on in the course, we'll talk about when it makes sense to uncheck some of those boxes and strategic ways that you could use that. What we're looking at now is your basic settings on LinkedIn. So this will give you just some background. When you joined, it'll give you your primary email address. Something to keep in mind, a mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they put their work email address there. And even though that's okay to do, if it's your business, If you're working for someone, you never know where those emails might go. Maybe you're get fired or quit, and then those emails are still going to that old inbox. I've seen that happen many times, and those people know all about they're all up in your business, and you had no idea that was happening. So just try to maintain it primarily your main personal email address, and that's what makes LinkedIn so great, that a lot of the decision makers are also doing the same thing. So you could reach people not just at work, but also in their inbox, and it would make sense to do that at some point. This will show you your in-mail. So if you have a premium account and you have access to those in-mails, you could see your count there, how many, and you could purchase some as well. If you have any LinkedIn ad campaigns running, it'll give you that information, give you the running count of introductions. So that's if you have a connection that you want that connection to introduce you to someone else. We would see what we have available there, and then you could change. If you have a premium account, you could change your badges, just aesthetics mainly. But some of the things I want to keep track of here is your profile settings. So something to keep track. If you're working for someone, right, and you're not really active on LinkedIn, all of a sudden you're very active on LinkedIn. People are going to wonder, especially if you're connected with a lot of colleagues, what's up with that guy? Are they looking, or that gal? Are they looking for a new job? Are they looking for a better opportunity? So times when you don't, you're going to be making a lot of changes to your profile, and you don't want necessarily that broadcasting to all your connections. You want to be more private about those changes. Go ahead and uncheck this box, and then that way, when you start making those changes, people aren't alerted. Like, I see it happen all the time. Someone might go back and change your current position and change the role of it, the name of it, and it shows up like they've gotten a new job. All of a sudden, everyone's congratulating them. Congrats, you got a new job, even though that person's been in the same place for a while now. So it's kind of embarrassing, and you don't want to be doing that all the time. So go ahead and uncheck that, and because since we're going to be making a lot of changes in the next 6 weeks, it probably makes sense to turn those activity broadcasts off, at least in the meantime. Here you could select who you want to see your activity feed. So you might limit it just to your network, your connections. The reason I have everyone is that a lot of my updates are meant for everyone. They're public. I want the SEO value from those updates. Anyone that looks at my profile could click the link that's I shared as my update status. So, again, there's different ways to do it, different strategies around it, but just, know that you have the ability to control who could see your activity feed. This is a new feature that LinkedIn just rolled out, where it tells you where you rank, right? In the profile views, it'll tell you where you're at in terms of all your connections and how many profile views you get in comparison to them. And if you don't want to be part of that ranking, right, you don't want to be, you don't want to know where you stand in those standings, then go ahead and uncheck that. But note that you won't see any of the other rankings if you uncheck that box. And it's helpful. I really like that new feature. Kind of shows me where I stand. Here is the ability to connect, to see your connections. And you might not, if you're keep your connections really close guarded. Maybe you work in the NSA or security, and you have people that you're connected with, but you don't want anyone else to know. Then definitely maintain your connections private, only for you. There's pros and cons to that. I definitely don't advise you to do that unless there's a real good reason why. But the whole point of LinkedIn is so you can network and connect, and you want to through your network you add value to other people. So I would recommend having that just by default. Having your connections able to see your connections. Here is viewers of this profile also viewed. So this is a great discovery tool. People that might be looking at some of my colleagues on their profiles, you'll see my name on the right. People that viewed their profile also viewed mine. So it gives me more traffic and more profile views by having this option checked. So I would recommend having that checked. Here you could block people, right? So if you want to manage spammers and people that you've blocked, you could do that right here. You could also sync up your Twitter account to LinkedIn. I recommend that, but also to be careful that you don't tweet everything and put it on LinkedIn at the same time, right? So there's ways to use those social networks, or different ways to use them. You don't necessarily want to double broadcast everything that you do. on Twitter onto LinkedIn. You could also set up WeChat with this, edit your name, location, industry, right? So this is all, all the different settings that you could play around with, right? This is your very professional headline. We're going to talk about this next time, like how to optimize that. But just for now, I want to get you accustomed to these different settings. Open profile means that if you're a premium account, you could actually have anyone send you a message through this open profile network, so it makes you more accessible to contacts and to prospects, but also to spammers. So there's pros and cons that are associated with that. Going back to the settings, let's take a look at the settings again. And of course, for most part, when you're starting off on LinkedIn, you don't have a premium account. I do recommend it, like if you're in sales and business development, or you're looking for a job, or you're in HR recruiting, it's a must, because that allows you to network a lot better. You have more access to people. You have more access to analytics and information. It makes you more visible. So there's a lot of pros to why you want to have that premium account. And it's not a big price tag. It's $20-25 per month that you'll be paying for that. And then this is your LinkedIn profile, right? So you've seen this a dozen times. You have your picture. And we'll talk again about how to optimize these profiles in the next session. But for now, I just want to walk you through what a LinkedIn profile looks like. You have the ability to edit your profile right from here. Just hit that button, and then everything has a pencil next to it. So you could easily just pop in there, even see examples, see what other people in your industry are using. You're able to edit your experience, right? So all of your job positions, and we'll go into more detail, but you could edit just by clicking those pencils right next to that job title. You could put descriptions in there, the time frame. You could search for the company that, and if they have a company page, that company page will pop up, and then the logo will automatically populate there. You could also put in media, right? So we'll talk about cool ways that you could use that. But see this little square plus sign right there? Just clicking that, you could upload a file directly to LinkedIn, or you could also add a link. So if it's on SlideShare, or if it's on YouTube or Vimeo, you could just add a link, and I'll show you that. Just boom, right there, drop the link in. It puts in the video in that job description, and then you also could make a little summary about what that link is all about. And then you also are able to edit your skills and endorsements, right? So here are all your skills. If you don't have 50 already in your profile, make sure to add them in there. So don't wait for other people to endorse you for things that are not really relevant to you. Take the initiative and start dropping those skills in there. So recruiting, is it social media, is it sales? Drop in those expertise, because that will make you more visible, especially if you're looking for a job. It'll make you very visible to recruiters. And then make sure that you get endorsed for that. And you could also get email notifications when you do get endorsed. And I recommend that, especially if you're just starting off, because there's cool ways that we could use those emails. And again, we'll talk about all these ways to optimize it in our next week's class. But today we're just going to keep walking through your profile. Something cool that also LinkedIn has done, so if you're making little small changes here and there, you don't have to go back and change the settings and do that. You could just choose here, yes, publish these changes, or to not publish the changes. So you could tailor it depending on the changes that you're making at that particular time. Also, don't forget, you could add tons of stuff to your profile in terms of volunteer experiences and causes. So you have a section, ability to do that, different causes that you've worked for. Recommend doing that. It gives you more ways to network with people and look for similarities that you could build relationships off. If you're in college or a recent grad, highly recommend that you put in your courses there. If you're a more seasoned professional, it's not really necessary, right? Because you've got the work experience to back it up. But if you're an MBA or a recent grad or a college student, drop in those courses, because that will sometimes take the place of having work experience. So make sure that you put in your courses in there. Any languages you speak, go ahead and add that in there. You could put your proficiency level as well. So here I'm Spanish, native bilingual proficiency, and you're able to add that in there. Honors and awards, so any type of recognitions that you've received, President's Club, certificates, rankings, any type of awards, honors, accommodations that you've received. Drop those in there. You could tie it into a specific job that is on your LinkedIn profile. Put a description of what that award was all about. Here is your certification area. And notice that all these have a little arrow, so you could easily move this up depending on what's important to you, right? If right now you want to showcase your recommendations or want to showcase your experience, obviously that should go at the top. But if you want to showcase maybe your honors and awards over the languages that you speak, you're able to do that just by dragging and dropping and positioning that where it makes the most sense to position it. So actually that's a good for me because I want to make sure I put this honors and awards up here, because by the time some people might not go all the way to the bottom of your profile. So make sure that they have, prioritize that in terms of what's important to you, what's important for you to showcase, and in that order put it in your profile. Here, of course, is the education, one of the most important areas of your LinkedIn profile. It's great for networking. Make sure that you choose the right college. That allows you to find other, LinkedIn will always recommend people that went to the same school that you did, same class. You could find a lot of your old college classmates by making sure you set this up the right way. So come in here, choose that college, any grades that you want to put in there, field of study, your graduation date, or your expected graduation, so you could drop all that information in there. If you went to a college, let's say just for a summer, like one semester, still add that into your profile, because that allows you to, if you have that name there, it now gives you access to that network, and you have more people that you can get in touch with because both of you went to the same school. So drop in community college, or you went to a semester abroad, drop that information in there. This is very, you don't have to do this. I did it because I had friends that I wanted to connect with that we were friends back in elementary. So this is out of the norm. You don't have to do this. Actually, I don't recommend you doing this. So this is just a special scenario, but you could definitely always add your high school, especially if you went to like an elite high school, private high school that has it's like a country club style where it has a very good network, right? Then add those in there, add those academies or prep schools that are very highly recognized. Make sure that you drop that information in there and the activities that you were a part of while you went to that school. Here is the additional information part. So you can add in interests, you can add in personal details. This is very, very helpful. But again, we can move this to the top. It doesn't have to be all the way down here, and I have to actually edit that now, but you could add in that information right there. Any organizations, professional organizations that you're a part of, you could add that there. And again, you could add media throughout this. So you have tons of ways to make this profile a lot stronger. And then here are a couple other areas to cover, recommendations. So you could edit the way that your recommendations look. So hopefully you have some recommendations already. If you don't, we'll discuss that again in the future class, how to receive, how to get and optimize your recommendations. But these are people that have worked with you, colleagues, bosses, professors that are vouching for what it is that the kind of work that you do. Much more concrete and beneficial than endorsements, in my opinion. These carry a lot more weight because someone took the time to write something for you as opposed to just clicking a button to endorse you. So you want to get these recommendations, and I'm going to show you different ways that you could use this, but this has been so valuable to me. I've gained tons of business, made a lot of money just from having all these recommendations on my profile. And something that you are able to do is actually organize those recommendations so you can manage the visibility, right? If you have maybe a lot of recommendations, or maybe you have some that they're not really that special, so you don't want to put that on there if you don't feel like it's a good quality recommendation. So you can actually manage what shows up. So here is these 7 recommendations that I have. I could click that manage button, and then it's going to list the different people that gave me the recommendations and the actual recommendation, and you could choose to have an unexpected problem. But we'll talk about that when we get into the recommendation section of our course. But you're able to adjust that, modify it, change around the order of the recommendations. If you have a recommendation from a boss or a very reputable person, then highlight that, because that's going to be very valuable to you if you showcase it up front at the top. And then here, the background is probably the most important part of your profile. This is your introduction, your elevator pitch. You're going to be able to do your summary here. You could add media, so this is the most prominent area of your LinkedIn profile. And a couple of things that we need to do is right here, the contact info. So that's very important to add in a current email address. Make sure you go back this and edit this, because sometimes I see outdated information. People are trying to get in touch with you, but you have no phone number, no email. Your office line's not there, right? So make sure, review that every so often to see that it's updated. And then here's, you could modify what shows up, right? So if you want to hide some things out of your profile, you want to get a link, create a profile badge to post somewhere else, right? This allows you to drive more traffic to your profile page. But let's go back to that home page and edit the. I want to show you how to, because this is one of probably the most common mistake that I see, is that right here, see where it says your current URL. So most people don't, they have linkedin.com/in/ a bunch of letters, numbers, there's not any rhyme or reason to that URL. And you don't want that. You want to make sure that that URL is customized for your name or for your brand. So here, we could click customize, and then you drop in your name. If you have a common name, put in an initial, put in a nickname, something that will stand out. But this is very useful for SEO purposes. Again, you want to have your LinkedIn page rank on Google, on Bing, on Yahoo, for your name especially, because that's your reputation. That is your online brand, and you want to make sure that what people find is what you want them to find. So take control of that and set your custom URL right away. And then going back to the contact info, you could also add in different links, right? So here's an example where I have my websites. You don't want to just put in, if you just put in blog, right, it's going to say blog and that's it, right? It's not going to be this, you want to be descriptive with your title. So what I recommend that you do is choose other and then put in a descriptive title for that link, so it makes people want to click on that and want to learn more about what it is. They know what they're going to, and it's not just a company page or a generic personal website thing, right? Make sure that you customize the way that it appears. All right. And then here you could also create different profiles in Spanish, French. That gives you more visibility, allows you to get your profile in front of more people. And then these are other things that you could also add to your profile. So projects and publications. So if you're an author or you're a journalist, make sure that you take advantage of that, of the publications area. If you're in school, MCAT related, or CPA, where test scores really matter, nursing, hospital, and hospital care, right? Make sure you put that information. If you're an inventor, have patents, you're able to add these areas to your LinkedIn profile to make it very relevant to your field of study. So these are your basic LinkedIn features that we've discussed, kind of the main setup. And we're going to dive in next week on how to optimize all of the different features that we saw today. Today was just a walkthrough to get you accustomed with this dashboard that we're going to be working on, to get you used to the different parts of the different links and different areas of your dashboard. Some other cool areas is here, who's viewed your profile. So clicking on that will show you, and again, if you have a pro account, you'll get more information, but you'll be able to see who's viewing your profile. And one thing that you could also do is become an anonymous profile person, which means that when you go visit other profiles, those people won't know who you are. And I don't want to be anonymous. I don't want to hide behind a screen. I want people to know that I'm checking them out. And it's, again, strategically, right? You want to use that in the right way. And we'll talk about that when it comes to the optimization strategy piece of our LinkedIn course. A cool new feature that LinkedIn has added, how you rank for profile views. So this stacks you up. Right now I'm in the top 2%, 85 out of 7,147 connections. Not too bad, right? Want to definitely get to the top, get my profile more visible, find out where you're at. This is a time lapse of how many views I'm getting per week. And I could see where those views are coming from. 27 viewers found me from LinkedIn Recruiter, 131 from the Washington, D.C. area. Gives me further, detailed analytics. So 5 people worked at LinkedIn, 5 at ADP, 108 saw me from are working at Vocus. So you could see a lot of great details regarding who's coming to your profile. And we could use that strategically, and we'll discuss that in our next, in our future course. So another things that you should know, right here you got your profile, right? So we talked about editing, we talked about who viewed, we have the contacts. So this is your Rolodex, right? This is the most important part of your LinkedIn platform, is the ability to have all these contacts at your fingertips. So you could go through and see your contacts at a glance. These are sorted by our recent conversations. You could sort by first name, by last name. You could take a look at all your new contacts. This will show you what's the different changes that are happening currently in your network. So when people are getting jobs, if they're getting promoted, it will show you that. Here you could add contacts to your LinkedIn page, right? So you could sync this up with your address book, either Outlook or Gmail, right? And have those contacts. LinkedIn will find those people and give you their profile page, so now you can easily send them an invite and be connected with them ASAP. The other part here is also finding alumni, right? We talked about that, adding connections. So going to the Add Connections tab will allow me to bring in my address book, and I could choose a platform and it will give me the instructions on how to do that. Then we have the Jobs tab. So if you're a job seeker, recruiter, this is the area that you need to get intimately acquainted with, which this will be your main dashboard for job seeking, for finding good opportunities, for doing different comparison and searches. So you want to make sure that you learn this in and out, and we'll, again, dive into this more when that time comes. Then we have our Interest tab. So this is a very cool part. For me, it's my professional development on LinkedIn. I have the ability to look at different companies. If I follow companies, I learn what they're up to. Here's also where you manage your own companies and the page for these companies. We also are able to go to our groups, right, and join different groups and take part in group discussions, even start a group, right? So you can manage that right from that Interest tab. Again, professional development, because you learn a lot from being part of these groups. And maximize, right? You could join up to 50 groups. Of course, you can't be very engaging in all 50, but it's good to at least be part of 50, because that will allow you to send more invites out and have more people connect with you. But you could only engage maybe 3, 4, 5, depending on how you manage that. Pulse is my content discovery section for LinkedIn. I'm able to go here and follow influencers, right? So, Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, I follow him, Brian Solis, right? So these guys are LinkedIn influencers. They're creating awesome content. I'm learning from their expertise, from how smart they are and the different things that they've learned and been through. So I follow these different influencers and get their latest articles through the Pulse. Here you can see the top post. You could see all the influencers, right? So this gives you, again, if you customize this for your industry, you could have your pulse. You could have your fingers on the pulse of your industry. So it allows you to be kind of the first to know about everything that's happening, and you could easily take that content, share it with your prospects, and be a thought leader, because you're getting that information to them first, and chances are they're probably not using LinkedIn like you are. So it's a great way a lot of cool ways that you could use this. But for me personally, I just love following these influencers. I learn a lot from them. They have great professional insight. Here you could follow different channels, so your industry, right? If it's big data, business travel, economy, education, right? Make sure you follow and stay on top of your industry. And here are all the publishers. So these are in all the different outlets that you're able to follow and see what they're posting. And then other areas that we'll quickly cover now is the search capability of LinkedIn, right? So hitting that search button allows me to, here this is part of the premium account, having a lead builder. So we'll talk about that in a later session, but this is how a search will look like for you. You have you could do a search by people, by jobs, by groups. You could search by relationship, by location, by companies. And then if you have a premium account, you have a lot more search power. So you could find different professionals. You could find, type in the name of the contact or a company and find people that work there. So this is going to be a very frequently used part of our LinkedIn training. And then you have your inbox, of course. So here's, you'll see I got quite a lot of messages in my inbox, but this will be the place where they will be sending you messages, where you could see invites that you are getting. And keep in mind, I don't accept every invite that I get. A lot of these I know they're spam, or we don't really have a lot in common for me to want to accept your request. So I just let it sit and and see where it goes. Or many times I just hit ignore if I know definitely that it's a spam invitation. And then lastly here is your notifications. So with notifications, we click on that, and then we could see our latest people that are liking our posts, that are commenting, that are saying things about us, that are sharing different changes that are going on in your network. So, and then here we have more advanced features, the company manage page, the privacy settings, job posting. So these are more advanced. We'll cover those in later sessions. But that was our walkthrough today of LinkedIn, your introduction to LinkedIn. Hope you got a good grasp for all the different things that we talked about. At least, if you are pretty new to LinkedIn, hopefully this helped you learn about some of the different features that you haven't used but want to learn more about, and that's why you're doing this LinkedIn University course. So thank you so much for surviving day number 1, week number 1 of LinkedIn University. Look forward to next week. We're going to dive into the profile optimization. So now that we have control of our dashboard and we know how to edit our profile, how can we make sure that we do the right edits to give us the best results, to maximize our visibility, and to help us get to that goal that hopefully you've written down by now and have somewhere around your desk or in front of you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see each other next week. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.